Have you ever scrolled through Steam and found something that just catches your eye? A game that you know will not only change your perception of our most favoured pastime, but a game that will sweeten the sour truth that we are slowly drifting to the cold stead of our eternal darkness. No? Well, me either. But I've at least found something that I can say sparked my interest. A game that, I'll be honest, gives off less grandiose Game of the Year AAA vibes, and more of what I'd expect it'd be like to find a haunted cartridge at your creepy neighbour's garage sale. This game is called Children of the Clay, a horror game that was actually made for a Cosmic Horror Game Jam last year, and was released as a free release back in March. And since I've played it, oh, have I got some thoughts. At first glance, this may just look like a run-of-the-mill indie horror game you find on Steam. But this? Oh, is it good? It's really good. The basis of the game is honestly pretty simple. You find an ancient relic and you are tasked to analyze it. It's not a, let's say, out there premise, but it's done in a way where you are genuinely curious what this thing is. It's enticing, which I think was the aim, and it is done perfectly. Because yes, although this thing does look creepy, it does look harmless to begin with, something you genuinely may find from an excavation dig site. Now, the process of your investigation is done with surprisingly little. There are items on your desk that can be used in a multitude of ways, and I think the best thing about this is the game doesn't actually tell you what to do. Everything is done by your own fruition. So for instance, you have a magnifying glass to give you the ability to look closer at the object, matches to light a candle, a notepad and pen that is used during the progression of the story to make notes, a compass which, I'll be honest, I still don't know how to use, but I'm sure it at least has a purpose, and finally the main mechanic of the game, the books. This is where the majority of the story is told, along with how it progresses. The books are fairly simple in practice. You type something into them, and if you get a match, it provides information about that specific thing you searched for. Now, these phrases can vary from words such as metal or clay, for instance. It isn't exactly affirmed to you to continue to search for specific keywords and phrases within the books, but naturally as a player you will come across words that will, let's say, stand out from others, which of course will lead to some curiosity from the player on what they mean, leading to you wanting to, let's say, study them. Of course there is some trial and error involved, but that is natural for a game like this, and I guess in this particular scenario you are playing, it does make a lot of sense too. Let's be honest, although I have described it as a horror game, the game isn't exactly what I'd call scary per se, but excels at general ambience and its use of tension. It just made me feel uneasy, which we can all agree is missing from a lot of modern day horror games nowadays. Gone are the days of being chased by unholy demons of the night or chasing down your lost love in a foggy town, not to mention while we live in the era of the jump scare. So it was quite a welcome surprise to play a pretty tense horror game that doesn't have any. You heard me. A modern horror game that actually relies on its tension and atmosphere. It could make a grown man cry. The game made me feel like I was messing with something that I shouldn't be messing with, if you catch my drift. One thing I will highlight though is that it finds horror within its lack of control. Although a very different form of horror, it reminds me a bit of Outlast, not in the general form of gameplay, story progression, visuals, or even scares, but what I'm referring to is its approach to limiting player control. You are literally just given what you are given, and you have to deal with the task in front of you. In Children of the Clay, these are the tools that help you examine the artifact, and in Outlast, you are limited to just using the camera. Might be a bad comparison, but was the only thing that I could really think of. Obviously, with your limitation in Children of the Clay, when shit hits the fan, it hits the fan. Obviously there's far more to this game, and I will get to that very shortly, but along with the game's use of tension through a lack of command, it excels with its use of minimal scenery progression. The ancient form of storytelling where the character discovers something over time. Turning something that looks to be a piece of old rock you'd find when your younger self tried to dig to Australia, and through the use of general progression of the game, turning this ancient discovery into something that may as well have crawled through the deepest pits of hell. It's a really unique way to tell the story, and I can't say I've actually seen it used this well before. When I say this game goes from 0 to 100 in just a few simple book searches, I'm not kidding. And I think that is why the plot is so much fun in this game, and that is because of the book, and its natural progression in telling the story through small but understandable narrative threads. It does also have to be mentioned that if you do take your time with it and use the book to its full potential, you can find more that makes an already satisfying story even better. I have been very careful during this video to hide any form of spoilers so far because it's so good, you deserve to experience the game yourself. It is free and you can probably play it on a potato, so there are no excuses if you have a PC. But I do know that there may be some people watching this who can't, and that's fine, so I will give you at least a general analysis from myself on the plot. If thou art willing to fucketh around, thou shalt anticipate an occurrence to proceed. It really puts the term first person to great use, as you do feel like you are this character making these choices. The way it does this, as I've previously mentioned, is the lack of explanation when it comes to your task. I think this is due to the fact that the game asks the player to make choices by themselves, and also does a really good job of rewarding the player if they do decide to put in time with exploration, as I've already mentioned, which in turn creates a feeling that I can only describe as personal. You figure out from the book and your analysis what this thing is, but this is done from your own fruition. Although it isn't difficult to be, it doesn't really hold your hand. And because of this form of progressive storytelling, the plot feels a lot more like the consequences of your own actions rather than the product of a set story. Even though in reality, the ending doesn't change. It's brilliant. Obviously, it has to be said, this game isn't for everyone. This is a point and click game which may put some people off. And to those people, I say, you're just wrong, okay? This game's really good, just play it. And I have to say it now as he deserves a significant amount of credit and love. Balash Ronyai, you sir are a very, very talented developer. I'm very sorry if I butchered your name. Please make more games, this one's really good. Well. Who'd have thought that during the final edits of this video, Balash would not only announce active support for the Children of Clay, but a successor. I can't really understate how great a time I've had with this game, and honestly, when it comes to it, it is probably one of the best horror games I've played so far this year. It really excites me what Balash's next game will be, and if it can capture the same feeling and atmosphere of the Children of Clay. Because, let's be honest here, if it does, and if it is expanded more, dear God, it would rock. But yeah, all in all, it's amazing news. I can't wait to see what happens next, and when it does finally release, do expect a video on it, because of course. Anyway, rant away, past me. Let's wrap this shit up, please. And if you are wanting to see more videos like this, please do keep an eye on the channel. Like and subscribe and leave a comment on any fun sleeper hits you found recently. Even consider following my ex in the description too if you'd like to see any updates for future uploads coming soon. I've been Noble, and thanks for watching. This. It wasn't this that made me laugh. It was this. It's like coming up. It's like around here. Yeah.